Thank you, Navya, for that opening remark. Let us start the topic of the day. First topic of the day. I was initially, thought I'll just start with the taxation part, how the taxation should work. Am I audible to all? Yeah. How the taxation should work. Later, I thought of adding some quick update on how to start it. When I felt, many of them are yet to start your business. So I thought, starting with this slide, how to start it. Because you should always start right. When you start a business, taxation or any other grant purposes, government policy purposes, government recognizes only few incorporation status for those grants. There are proprietorship, partnership, LLP, and private limited. There might be certain grants which might not be available to private limited, or there might be certain grant which is only available to LLP, and certain tax reliefs which are only available to domestic companies. So whenever you start, you should start it right. Proprietorship is something which you are starting a business in your individual name. Say, you are alone, you are starting it alone, and you don't need a separate status of the business. You just give a name and start with that. It's a very simple process of incorporating it. There is nothing specifically called incorporation. You can just put up your business, get some basic registrations like labor registration or a domestic, the state registration, what we call as technically, and you can start it. And it's a easy to entry and easy exit scheme kind of a thing. Partnership where usually preferred where you are two independent people, more people are coming together to start a business, then you actually start it as a partnership. Okay. When it is a partnership, there might be a registered partnership or an unregistered partnership. Registered partnership is nothing but you make an agreement between yourself. If there are 3 or 4 people, you make an agreement and you go and get it registered with a sub-register office, which will give more confidence to each of you. And also to the government saying, if something goes wrong, I have some basic documents to fall back. Okay. Basically, the basic difference between those registered and unregistered is you will have a legal power. If you are registered, you will have a legal power. If something goes wrong with one of your vendor or your customer, okay, you can go to the court of law. If it is not registered, then you cannot approach the court of law. This is the basic difference between that registered and unregistered partnership. Okay. LLP is a new concept. It started 2008-9. That is the time when it started. Limited liability partnership. It is an extended version of partnership where government tried recognizing a partnership. Till now, if you see the partnership, it is not in the limelight. Okay, so here it is regulated by Ministry of Finance. It is regulated by Ministry of Finance there. There is a register of companies who is overlooking your filing, your statutory compliances, how the partnership is, built, and what kind of agreement that you are having. That will be put in a public domain. Anybody, if you two are starting a partnership, I can go and see what kind of a partnership you are having. It's all in open. Okay, that give a more transparency and it will give more confidence to the people who are doing the business with you. Okay. Moving on to private limited, which is something comes with a greater responsibility to all of you. If you start it as a private limited, it will be completely transparent. Anybody can see your financial statement. Anybody can access your complete document, what you are doing, how you are doing it. And also, LLP and private limited comes with a limited liability. The advantage is proprietorship and partnership. If you incur loss, you will have to pay it from pocket. Remember that. If you make a loss of 50 lakh or 60 lakh and there is a bank loan sitting on you, you will have to pay it. You will have to reimburse them, or you will have to make it good out of your pocket or out of your own asset. When it comes to limited liability partnership or a private limited company, that is not the case. If you can establish that, okay, this is a genuine business loss, I could not make anything, I mean, it is not my fault that business could not take off, then there is nothing which can go out of your pocket. It is limited. If you put up initial money of 10 lakh, it is limited to that 10 lakh, nothing more than that. Okay? Under private limited, it is very strictly monitored by register of companies. You will have to file your regular returns. You will have to file, I mean, you will have to comply with the income tax provisions. You will also parallelly have to comply with the Ministry of Finance regulation that is regulated by the Companies Act. Okay? There, the cost of default is too high. Government is going to give you, a big ticket for any default that you make. It all runs in per day basis. Every day 100 rupee, 200 rupee. If you make a default for 1 year, we have seen companies when we assist our client who did not file their return for 2 years with ROC, they had to pay a penalty of more than 5 or 6 lakhs. Otherwise, their DIN is going to get blocked. They can never get into a private limited mode again. So that is the kind of rigid structure that private limited has. And also on exit part, private limited has a very steep exit regulations. You cannot just close it. There are a lot of stakeholders involved. You will have to fulfill your creditors requirement. You will have to fulfill your statutory requirement, taxes that you have not paid. All those you will have to make it good, and court should get satisfied that yes, there is no other liability, no public money is at stake, then only you are allowed to close that private limited. So entry route is simple in private limited, exit route is very difficult. Same in the case of LLP. LLP is not so rigid, but you will have certain compliances that you have to take care, but that is doable, should not be an issue. These two, proprietorship and partnership, it is an easy entry and an easy exit scheme. Okay? And how you should choose? How you should choose is something depends on how your business plan is, right? If you want to put up very structured, and particularly you want to hit the investors, you have a good plan, but you do not have a good investment, okay? And you are very pretty sure on your plan that it will work, then go with either LLP or a private limited. Because if you want that kind of investment, investor is not going to, particularly angel investors and the seed fund providers, they're not going to trust you if you are a proprietorship or partnership. All structured investors only trust private limited. Even if you are a LLP, they will ask you to convert it to a private limited. Okay? These two, conversion from proprietorship to partnership, conversion of these two to the private limited is little difficult task. Okay? I mean, the credential may not carry with the conversion, but LLP can be easily converted to private limited. Okay? I have given a tentative days. How in how many time you can start that. If it is a proprietorship, probably 8-10 days you should be able to start it. But if it is a partnership, it might be a little time-taking process. It usually you can expect 30 days because it will have a separate PAN. A PAN has to come from the department. Then you can go for a GST registration. Those unnecessary time lags are there in a partnership. LLP is same as partnership. You can expect a little smaller time because there is no hassles of you getting into a sub-register office and all those stuffs. Coming to a private limited, very dynamic. The 10 to 15 has also been reduced very recently. 10 to 15 is also a old time schedule. We can actually put up everything in place in 5 to 6 days. If you want to put up a private limited, you can, the initial incorporation, then the GST registration, your PF and ESI related labor registration and PAN all come at once. There is a one window entry that you don't have to go to a different department to get different registration. In one filing, you can get all the registration done, that too in 3 to 4 days, plus 2 to 3 days of your basic work. In a week's time, your private limited will be up and running. Once we know how the business can be started, we'll move on how the taxation will work. Yeah.
So in the private limited, you have mentioned the minimum 2 shareholders and the director. So director can also be a shareholder, right?
Yeah. See, in private limited, how it works is concept of director and shareholder is entirely different. Okay, you have two shareholders and two different directors. X and Y can be shareholder and A and B can be director. It is not necessary that A and B should be the shareholder and director.
But is it possible?
It is possible. It is quite possible.
And second thing, like you told, like most of the investors or angel investors, they give preference to LLP private limited. So like if you told that, like if I have some idea and I don't have money to start, so they will give preference. So we'll take it another way. Let's say that there is a product, but he has a proprietorship or a partnership firm. Okay, and he has a good product and the sales are like going good. So in that scenario, will they give the preference? Or?
See, how it happens, if the investors are ready to fund, they will find a way out. Okay, they will see. If you are getting a funding from an angel investor, they will, take it from me, they're not going to invest in your partnership unless they are unprofessional investors. Professional investors, angel investors, always invest only in private limited. It is a norm because it is a very easy entry for them, and even the exit. See, if it is a partnership, as I said, it is an unlimited liability. If you make a huge loss, they also will be liable to make it good from their pocket, which they will never going to take. They will say, if I am going to invest 10 crore in your project, my liability should be only that 10 crore. I am not going to put 1 rupee extra on that. Right? If company go bankrupt, that 10 crore is, I lose 10 crore, that's it. Not 1 lakh extra. That is how it will be. If you have a good plan and you started, experimented as a proprietorship or a partnership, then if somebody comes on board saying, okay, I am ready to pitch in, invest, okay, definitely you can start it as a private limited or you can convert it to a private limited. It need not be a legal conversion. See, what will happen? Private proprietorship, there is no concept of converting a proprietorship to partnership. The private limited. But you can definitely take that business model and put it there. Issues will come if you have some assets attached to it. Okay, that time you will have issues of capital gain. That is where we say, it might give you some complication. Otherwise, it is very much possible. Yeah.
Why not if I continue to be as a operator and want to raise funds from some other means, not necessarily angel investor.
You can, there is no harm in you continuing as a proprietorship. You are saying, how do I raise the fund? Probably on the government grant part, he should be able to tell you. And on the private investor part, you can reach out the investors. You will have to find the people who actually help you on the raising the fund. And it all depends how you present yourself, how you see, at the first place, you should have a good business model, okay, which fetch that amount of return to the investor to make him, make that business model look attractive. Then probably you'll have to take these kind of a help to approach the investor. That is the only way. There is no rocket science or a set model that, okay, this is how I get a fund. That is how it will be.
I can add to your point. So basically, there are different kinds of availing funds. So not just government. You can even avail funds through private investors, as you told. If not, you can also approach banks. But then the risk with proprietorship and partnership is that when you approach banks for funding, you will have to show your own personal assets for getting business funds out. Okay, but if you are doing the LLP or private limited, banks will have some kind of different regulations as to how they are going to provide you loans and how they are going to work out with your business to make sure their investment is coming back. So apart from the government funding, what you can look at is private investors and banks who can fund you if you are going as a proprietor or a partner. And these both will work out based on the weightage of your product and the way you're going to pitch your idea to the banks or the private investors, or the kind of traction that you're going to show to them about your returns on your idea. Yeah, one more thing is what I heard is the angel investors will not seek funding, and they expect majority of things to be majority of income profit to be on their side. Maybe some 60% or 55%, more than 60%. That's what I know. I don't know.
See, if you're talking about the angel investor never expect that kind of shareholding. Usually they limit themselves somewhere between 20 to 30, 35. They don't want to control the company. Okay. If they want to control the company, only those investors ask you for more than 50% share. Okay. Otherwise, it will be well within 30%. They don't want to take no risk, and neither they don't want to control that business. They want you to control. They only will finance. They understand the fact that they are not the expert in that business. You are the expert. You worked on it. You have a good plan, and you are confident of making it through. That is why they just give you the fund and take some shareholding, that will be 20-25%, and take a back seat. Yes, of course, they will chase you on the targets. That's it.
So what is the process? I think it in a positive way that somebody is giving me fund from either from angel or from seed investor, and is it any way that think that I am going to gain profit within a couple of months, and I want to close it? Is there any way to close it?
After taking the funds,
Yeah.
see, that's why as long as you are not a company, they may not fund you. If you say you put up a company and want to close it after taking a fund, it would not be possible because they will have their own regulations. See, when you make the
What's the minimum? There's 1 year, 2 year.
no, usually when an angel invests, okay, they expect at least 3 to 5 year return. Okay, you have to perform for that 3 to 5 year period. After that, you will have to buy them out. That is how it works. You will have to buy them out with the IRR that they expect. It might be 30-35% IRR. That is how it will be. Anything else? No, sir. Even under proprietorship, you can make 1,000 crore turnover, and you can make 100 rupee turnover in a private limited. There is no restriction. Yeah.
Can we call about the angel investors as initial directors?
Angel invest. See, initial director. Pardon?
Let me give you a brief. I just registered a company.
Hmm.
I got registered in the month of May.
Hmm.
It's a private limited company. So I had a long 2-3 months of discussion with me. I found out that I want to have a limited liability, which the other angel investors agreed with. So I'm on board with them as directors, the initial shareholders and directors.
They can be initial directors or initial shareholders, but in general, it won't work in that way. Okay, you start up a business, you start a private limited with your own shareholding, then you give some sort part of share to them. They will not be initial players. They will come subsequently as an investor, and of course, they will have a place in the board. They appoint 1 or 2 directors based on depending on the investment that they are making. They will appoint 1 or 2 directors with the veto powers on certain areas. Right? It should not happen that you take the fund later, you promise them doing one thing, and after taking the fund, you start doing something else.
There is a complete transparency. I have at least 2 board meetings a month.
Yes.
Know what the business is going on. So
Yeah.
obviously they are getting maximum investment now.
Yes.
So they are at least 2 board meetings and quite a lot of reports are sent out to them. And they know what the daily business is going on.
That is very much required. That transparency is very much required. Actually, even if you do not have an investor on board, that transparency is required in private limited. Usually people do not follow it because there is no one to ask them. They are the owners. But government wants that kind of a transparency even if there is no investor, if you are a private limited. That board meeting, that thing that you told, even if there is no investor, that board meeting has to happen. 2 board meeting in a year. That is a mandate.
We do twice a month and we share the financial report. We share the KSTR finance and the plan.
That is a
That's more than enough for us to start.
that is a standard culture. That is a standard protocol. Every investor wants that comfort, that they want to see if their money is well spent or not. That's it. Anything else? We'll move on. Yeah. Let us quickly discuss some of the tax reliefs which are available to the startups, specifically to the startup. I'm not going to discuss all the reliefs that is in the Income Tax Act. I'm going to only touch upon few tax reliefs which are there for the startups, and I'll clear the flow to the next session. One is 15% tax rate. In general, there is a 25% or 30% tax rate for the businesses. If you are a LLP, if you are a partnership, if you are a private limited company with more than 400 crore turnover, your tax rate is 30%. Okay. If you are a small company, your tax rate is 25%. As against to those tax rate, you have a discounted tax rate of 15% and 22%. These two are the recent amendments or recent reliefs that they have given. Last month 22nd they have given, finance ministry has announced these two, and there is one option of 3-year tax holiday, and there is a tax relief from the angel investment which is received. Okay, these 4 aspects I'm going to discuss quickly. This 15% tax rate, as I said, how you start matters. This 15% tax rate is applicable only to the domestic company, not if you are a LLP or a partnership. You should be a domestic company to avail this 15% tax rate. And secondly, you should have been incorporated after 1st October 2019. You should not be an old one. You should start your private limited last month, October 2019. And there is no limit on the turnover. You can achieve any number, any amount of turnover. Even if you hit 1,000 crore turnover, this tax benefit is going to stay for you. There is a time limit. You should opt for it. Is a special scheme for you. This scheme you should opt in the first year of incorporation itself. If you miss opting for this 15% scheme in the first year, you can never opt it again. Okay, that is gone for that private limited. And the business, it is only specifically for manufacture and production, not for the service industries. This scheme is not available for the service industries. Okay. And there are certain other conditions. It should not be a splitting up or restructure of existing business. Like if you already having one business, you saw this as a good benefit, tax benefit. You want to take out some of the machinery from your existing business and put up a new private limited. That will not work. This benefit you won't get. And 80% of your machinery should be new. You cannot buy a second-hand machinery to avail this benefit. Okay. And other things, important one is there are certain deductions which are available to the regular companies, like if you are a SEZ, if you are a completely export-oriented unit, or if you are a manufacturing entity who can claim an additional accelerated depreciation. Apart from the regular depreciation, you can claim some additional depreciation for specified businesses. Those benefits you have to forgo forever. You cannot claim them forever. Okay. If you are okay for that, you are in for this 15% scheme. Okay. Once you come under this 15% scheme, you cannot withdraw it. It is a binding of lifetime.
When should have this difference be approved? The starting thing is 1st October, then corporation date is 1st October.
Yeah.
Machinery should have been approved at what?
Before, you should start manufacturing before 31st March 2023.
In that case, the time is between 1st October and 31st.
March 2023 March. You have a 3-year window.
Yeah, any machinery should have been bought in this thing. And for that, how do I document that?
You will get a invoice from your seller. You definitely will get an invoice from.
Because I got some machinery. Immediately I want to start something. I already procured some, but during this date only, during this particular period only, I already brought the machine. And what should I preserve?
Preserve in the sense on.
When I started,
Huh.
what should I preserve?
See, whenever you buy anything, any asset, the title document of that asset for a machinery and plant would be your bill, invoice from the supplier. That is the base document and the payment proof. These two are sufficient.
Okay, payment proof, see, I put it through online. Then
It will be there in your bank statement. That bank statement is a permanent record for you.
so I should preserve because I filed GST as of now only. It should be tracked.
See, this is not only for this. I'll tell you in general, any business transaction, the supporting has to be kept for 7 years. That is the time limit that the income tax department can go. They can take up your assessment for 7 years. After 7 years, even if they ask, you should be able to produce your invoices and expenditure bills. That is a general rule. Done, ma'am? Yeah, this, we can skip it. Then coming to this 22% tax rate, again it is only for domestic company, but there is no age requirement. I mean, there is no requirement that it has to be a new company. Any company can opt for it. Even if you are incorporated 10 years back, you can go for this 22% deduction. There is no limit on the turnover, and you can opt anytime. You can opt anytime. It is not that in this year only you will have to opt. You can opt in any future time. That is fine. And business also, it can be manufacturing or service or any kind of a business. There is no restriction. Everybody will, are eligible to take this 22% credit.